Well, today is our last show. We're moving on to other projects. To our followers, thank you for being with us. Sorry it couldn't go on any further. Anyway, now today, as a Brit or an American, what niggles you about German rules, the laws and regulations? Well, Andrew Bossum, who'll be joining us a little later on, has one special gripe all of his own.
As I anxiously wait to become a German, I ask what it takes to prove my suitability. And when is a test not a test?
There you are. That is the question that he will be trying to answer. I don't know if he'll succeed or not a little later on. Well, joining us in the studio today are Scott Hazlitt.
Hi, Barry.
Who you're a former Californian,
Los
aren't you?
Angelino, yes,
yeah,
that's
but
right. Yeah.
no more, because you have become a German.
I'm a German citizen, that's correct.
Yeah.
And you've taken the many hurdles to do that. Yeah.
And I do believe that Andrew will be talking about some of these hurdles in a moment. Yeah.
There are a few of them, yeah.
Okay. And also in the studio is Viard Raveling. Welcome, Viard.
Hello.
You're actually no stranger. You've been on the program once or twice before. And Viard is a native German and a former gymnasium English teacher. And you've just written a book, haven't you?
Yes. Being a teacher was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've still got connections because you've written a book about the English language.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, we'll come to your book in just a little bit later on.
Yeah.
If I can just turn to Scott.
Yes, sir.
About gripes and things. What, if you had to pick out one, what would be your, the biggest gripe you have about laws and regulations and things?
Oh, gosh, laws and regulations. There's so many of them. I think it's just that the Germans want to do everything quite exactly. So they've got things like all these traffic laws and everything. The problem is with that is that they don't check on this a lot because they have too little personnel in the police department. So if there's a speed limit and you think, oh boy, I wish they'd check that a lot, know they'd never show up there and check it.
Now, it's funny you should say that because just before we came on with the show, I looked up some of these regulations for motoring regulations.
Yeah.
It's page after page about what you can and can't do,
right.
and it lists the penalties and the fines and the what do you call them? The points on your license,
right? Yeah.
Oh, it's everything. I mean, they obviously have laws in other countries, but it seems to be an awful lot.
Yes, there are. Yeah, and that's the thing is, I try and stick to those rules most of the time, but there's a lot of people out there who don't. And the thing is, I feel like they never get caught doing it because everybody knows there's nobody there to check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Viard, let's bring you in on this. You're German. Is Germany perfect?
What a question. Is Germany? Nobody is perfect.
Right. No country is perfect.
Well, it's this comes as a surprise, and of course some of the regulations are quite useful. But we sometimes feel a little aggravated when we drive, 3 miles, and the speed limit changes 4 times.
Right.
So you have 80, then 200 meters further on, you have 60, and then 70, and 80 again, and you don't know why this is like that.
I have to agree. Yeah. It's especially in built-up areas.
Yeah.
You go through an area where there's sort of for children, or it's reduced to 30. And then a few meters further on, then. It increases.
Yeah.
And then a few more meters, it's down again, and then it's up. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have a nice garden and a tree, and for some reason you want to cut it down, you can't. You don't have the right. You have to ask permission to cut your tree down.
After a certain diameter of the trunk, that's right. If it's too big, then they say no.
Well,
yes.
yeah.
What is the diameter? Do you know what
50 centimeters or something? Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
If
There you are. But does anybody know what these are?
Yeah, well, you have to call up and ask them.
Yeah.
Right. And then they say, well, I have to transfer you to the department that knows about that, but he's not here now.
I remember that there's a rule about weeds. That
Right.
you can't kill weeds using vinegar.
Right. Somebody
Acid.
told me to do that recently. They said, here's the tip. And I said, you know that's not legal, isn't it? And they looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, look it up. It's not legal. You're polluting the environment if you do that, right?
Vinegar and salt.
Salt, right?
you know, you had that in one of your programs.
We did, yes. I
And
remember this.
After that, it was the first time that I used vinegar. No, I'm kidding.
It's a good idea, yeah.
Well, I mean, I spoke to the man from the ministry, the man who enforces.
He
this.
didn't really give you a straight answer, did he?
Well, yeah, he did, but it was conflicting because he said. What was it? I'm just trying to remember the words. It was against the law, and we shouldn't use vinegar, and we shouldn't use salt. And then I said, yeah, but what about all the hundreds and thousands of tons of salt that the Gemeinde puts on the roads?
Right. Well, that's official, so they can do it.
Yeah,
right?
and he said, oh, that's different.
Right. Well, another thing that occurs to me, they actually had a couple things in this on the internet. In some parts of Germany, you have baskets on the side of the road for leaf collection, but you can only put leaves in there that are officially on the public part of the road alongside the road. Yeah. So if you took the leaves from your parkway, as we call it in American English, and put them in the basket, you're breaking the law, actually. And they could fine you for doing that. But if the leaves are 1 centimeter over further to the left on this lawn, which is public domain, then you can put them in there. And you're supposed to put them in there.
Right.
So, yeah.
More?
Go.
Viad, what else have you come across?
They say there are some countries that everything is allowed that is not forbidden. And some people say in Germany, everything is forbidden that is not allowed.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it wind up Germans? I mean, I'm a German citizen, yeah, so I have to accept it like a native German. But I don't know about you, Scott, but I mean, you were born here, Viad. Doesn't it wind up native
I
Germans?
must admit, when you ask this question, I don't feel too much restricted by our regulations. I must tell you, because I have lived here all my life, probably I'm used to it. You have to be a foreigner, really, to get antagonized.
Really notice it, yeah.
Yeah, probably, huh?
Yeah.
But do you think there is this such a thing as, you have to be a good German and obey all these laws and rules?
I don't want to be a good German. I want to be a good teacher, a good father, a good grandfather, a good husband.
Right.
Being a good German is not one of my
You're
goals.
being very diplomatic. Now you are a German citizen, Scott.
That's right.
Are you a good German now? You obey everything.
No, I don't think anybody does that. I try to stick to the rules, but one thing is, we were talking about traffic. When you ask a lot of Germans, they've got the posted speed limit there. I say, well, maybe I could go 10 kilometers over, but I try and be careful not to overdo it, especially in a rural area or a road in town where it's 30 kilometers an hour. Maybe I'll go 35. But a lot of Germans told me on the highway, they go 20 over. Because if they get caught, then they're still below the limit where you can get a point or they take your license away.
Oh, yeah, it goes in stages, doesn't it?
Right, they've got different levels, depending whether it's in
10,
town or
20,
Yeah. So there is, I think that's how the Germans do get along with it, is they've got their own special way of dealing with this. Yeah. And for me I try and stick to the rules as much as I can, but I think there's I don't want someone glued to my rear bumper either because I'm going the speed limit. So that's kind of, you make a compromise.
May I use a comparison to exonerate my country? We always go to France during our summer holidays. Yeah. And in France, they are a lot stricter. I once got fined quite a lot of money for driving 1 kilometer fast.
One.
One.
1
Yeah.
kilometer.
In reality, it was 10, but they take off a certain marge, and
Okay.
then the rest was for 1 kilometer too fast. I got fined about 35, 40 euros.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
I can't.
Ridiculous
I
for
don't
one-
think that would happen in Germany.
No. I think.
Oh,
No.
that is amazing.
Yeah, well, you know how the French are. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's a program about Germany.
Yes,
we can
That's
say.
right. We can say
But-
we don't care.
But they have good wine, the French.
That's right.
No, Germany has good wines.
Right. Germany, France has good wine, and it's more expensive though. Too.
It's more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy
Yeah.
German wine.
Right, buy German products.
Yes.
From the Palatinate. Good
Right.
white wine from the Palatinate.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. The book is in front of you. Let's have a delve into this book that you've written, Viad. Hold it
Yeah.
up to the camera so we can see what it is. What's it called?
It's called Die Englische Sprache.
He has to turn it round to read it.
Yeah, again.
Yeah,
You got it?
we've got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know why this is the last show we're doing.
It's chaotic, isn't it?
No, Barry.
Do you want me to tell you the title?
You've just told us.
Yeah. Die englische Sprache einst, jetzt und demnächst.
Yeah.
Which is roughly translated the English language in former times, now and in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
What's-
Quite an ambitious project.
Yes.
How long did it take you?
Well,
Years.
several years, of course.
All right.
With a lot of interruptions.
Right.
I didn't write it all in one go.
No.
Yeah.
Did you write this when you were teaching?
No,
No.
but some of the chapters I already used when I was a teacher.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's it about, basically? I mean, I should have asked you this a few
I
minutes
have,
ago, but
I have here a list. I won't bother you with the whole list.
we haven't got. We've only got 20 more minutes
Well,
left.
I read.
Just
a few,
summarize this, please. Yeah.
I write a few from the table of contents. A brief history of the English language: the Celts, the Romans, the Anglo-Saxons, the Vikings, the Normans, and so on.
Now, I'll just stop you there because it's interesting. This about you said because it's the football club up
Yeah.
in Scotland is called Celtic.
Celtic Glasgow.
But they're the Celts, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's the Celts, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, you find both pronunciations.
Yeah?
Some
Oh.
say Celts and some say Celts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up and both are correct.
That's
Right.
interesting.
I have a good dictionary, Daniel Jones.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have a long chapter about the Norman French influence on the English language, because from that time on, the English language has more Romance words than Germanic words, which, although it is a Germanic language. Well, and then I say something about attempts to standardize the language. And in that context, I have a long chapter about Samuel Johnson, whom some people may know. He's a very popular man. And he is the second most quoted English writer after Shakespeare. And
He
a
is.
wonderful a wonderful character. Well, I then say something about simple English, Globish, and so on, about the terrible difference between pronunciation and writing.
And spelling.
I have a poem which consists almost completely of difficulties of pronunciation.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's also excruciating. You could
Have you
say.
got it there? Give us a clip. Give us a piece of it.
Yeah, a piece of it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
if
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the author reading his own work
yeah,
live here.
82.
That's right.
You'll be surprised how many difficulties there are.
Okay.
It starts like this.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not all of it.
Dearest creature in creation, studying English pronunciation, I shall teach you in my verse sounds like corpse, core, horse, and worse. I shall keep you, Susie, busy, make your head with heat grow dizzy. Tear in eye, your hair you will tear. Queer, fair seer, hear my prayer. Pray console your loving poet, make my coat look new, dear, sew it. Just compare heart, beard, and herd, dyes and diet, lord and word. Sword and sword, retain and Britain, mind the letter how it's written. Made has not the sound of bed, say said, pay, paid, laid, but pled. And it ends like this. Finally, which rhymes with enough, though, through, bow, cough, how. I can't even read this. Sow and tough. Hiccup has the sound of cup. My advice is give it up. This is a long poet, and it's full, written by a Dutchman, and it's all difficulties.
Yeah, I thought you read that extremely well.
You did,
yes. I've actually seen this poem, and I read it through.
Yeah, difficult.
Yeah. It's.
Have you heard about it?
Yes, I have heard of it.
Yeah.
I would thoroughly recommend that poem to English students who really want to perfect their...
They could buy the book and then they get lots of good information. That's right. Yeah. We're not plugging anything.
No,
here.
no plugging.
I said in my book, I think there is no single person in the whole world who can read the whole poem without any mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I'd bet my head.
Okay.
You can if you look through it a couple of times and then
reading
you
it
do it
once though
But
without
if you had to do it as sight reading, actually, I trained as a BBC announcer, continuity announcer for television, and my training was at Television Centre in London, which is no more. The BBC is not there anymore, but it was a big place, and it was for the BBC One, BBC Two networks, and I had to apply for this, and hundreds applied for it. I got it, but I had to pass this test. One of these tests was sitting in a studio, and they said someone will come in. It was actually the chief announcer with a pile of scripts. When you they will be upside down. Oh, yeah, you couldn't see them.
Okay.
As soon as you turn them over, you had to start reading. Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I saw these, and so you were sight reading. You couldn't prepare it,
right?
So it was live.
Okay.
And a lot of this was about. It was from the Open University, which the BBC used to put out.
Yeah.
And it was full of announcements about. Chemistry programs, and it had these long chemical names and biochemical names.
Yeah.
And I looked at this and I sailed through it.
Yeah.
Because I studied chemistry.
Right. Oh, so you did. Oh.
But they didn't know that.
Can I give you?
But the other candidates got things like Greek and Roman history, and the gods. And I would have failed if I'd had that.
Yeah. Can I give you one more example about the terrible English, either pronunciation or spelling? The combination O-U-G-H has 8 different pronunciations. You see, drought, though, enough, fought, trough, through, loch, and hiccup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
German's easy compared to that as far as pronunciation goes. Yeah.
Well, let's just take a break from all that and go back to these gripes we were talking about, because down in Bavaria is our man Andrew Bossum, and he mentioned that he's got one or two of his own. Well, he always has, hasn't he?
But that's right. He's a gripe central down there. He does a good job of it. Yeah.
Well, here he is. He's got another one today.
Yeah.
Now, as you may know, I'm British. This isn't something that I chose for myself, I was born with it. Having said that, I am working on adding German citizenship to my CV, which is something I have felt compelled to do thanks to the B word. You know the one. You know what this means? A language test and a citizenship test. What a ridiculous waste of time that is. The citizenship test, for example. Here is a genuine question from the German citizenship test, and I can assure you I did not make this up. A German political party wants to establish a dictatorship. This means that it is A. tolerant, B. in accordance with the rule of law, C. law-abiding, or D. unconstitutional. Amazingly, only about 75% of people taking the online practice test got this question right, which means that about 1 in 4 people are looking at the question and thinking, well, it's definitely not unconstitutional. But as well as a citizenship test, I also have to take a language test. I know this because I discussed it at length and in German with my caseworker. I said that I'd kind of hoped that the fact that I was talking to her almost as easily as I'm talking to you now meant that she could just tick a box that said, applicant's German is really quite good. But nope, she says they need an actual certificate. Now bear in mind that this certificate is supposed to prove that I have at least enough German to be able to open a bank account or fill out a passport application form. Apparently, being able to complain in near perfect German about the tedious and unnecessary bureaucracy involved isn't good enough. So I roll up to a language school to book myself in for a language test and to ask if this could possibly be done sometime this century. I'm still waiting to do it, by the way, because these things are booked solid months in advance. The secretary looked at me in total incomprehension, always a good sign in Germany. A language test, she said, for your citizenship application. Yes, please. But you don't need a language test for your citizenship application. You know that feeling where you suddenly realise your life story is being written by Franz Kafka? You do if you live in Germany. I have heard that there are other countries where it's just as bad, but I can't comment on those. I just had this familiar sinking feeling and visions of spending the next 6 months in pointless circular arguments. But I've just come from the immigration office. They've told me I need to take a language test. No, that's not right. What you need for your citizenship application is not a language test, it's a language exam. You see what I have to deal with here? And I'm willingly signing up to become one of them. Oh, fair enough. But what is the difference between a test and an exam? In an exam, we evaluate all aspects of your language skills and then you get a result. That was not the answer to my question, but life's too short, so I just signed up for a language exam, only to discover that it is officially called the Language Test for Immigrants. Which I think means that I'm taking an exam which is called a test, even though it's technically not a test but an exam. And the reason is that an exam is an exam and a test isn't. Something like that. Well, here's my advice to the German government. If you really want to test whether people have successfully integrated into German society, all you need do is set them the task of booking themselves in for a language test or exam, whatever. If they succeed, they have passed both tests. Exams.
I had a similar experience to what he was talking about. When I went in, I speak fluent German. I am a certified translator.
You've
for
been
German
certified,
English.
right.
I'm certified.
Right.
And I went in and he said, he went through the list of things, what I had, the documents and everything I had to have. And he said, certification of language capabilities. And he said, German is okay. And I said, yeah, I guess you could say that in German. I said, ja, das stimmt, das könnte man sagen. And he said he's not allowed to evaluate that. I have to have an official document. So my qualification certificate as before the Industry and Handelskammer here was not on this list of things. And I said, but I'm a certified translator. He said, well, that's not good. But I had done what's called the Kleine Deutsche Sprachprüfung at the Goethe Institute ages ago. And he said, oh, that's on the list. We'll take that one. And I thought, thank God I'd taken the Kleine Deutsche Sprachprüfung or test, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was how I got out of it. Because otherwise they would have made me take another test, even though I'm a certified translator.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yep. So, on the list of things that bugs you about German bureaucracy, that's up there with me.
Got a couple of minutes just before we finish.
Yeah.
Viad, another gripe from you.
Another gripe?
Yeah.
I really can't think of one.
There
That's
are.
because you're German.
Yeah.
You should
Everything is wonderful.
It's wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
You should have told me. You should have told me before.
And then you would have
thought
taken
about
a
it.
week to think about this.
Right.
And
We have only a couple of minutes for the show.
Left.
less than that now.
Oh,
Really?
sorry, because I would have liked to read a few.
Oh, go on. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry about that. Viad has just demolished the microphone. We'll get another one for you.
No, I have a little article about homophones, homographs, and so on, and I said that the English like puns, Wortspiele. And I may have the time to read
Yeah,
a
you
few.
do. Go on. Yeah.
What has 4 wheels and flies?
I don't know. What has 4 wheels and flies?
A garbage truck.
Da-dam, da-da.
What does a hippie call his wife?
I don't know.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Why is honey so scarce in Brazil?
Yeah.
Because there's only one bee in Brazil.
Thought of these things.
Judge says to the dentist, do you swear to pull out the tooth? The whole tooth and nothing but the tooth. Why did...
There's more.
Yes, I have
He's got hundreds of these. I got 100 of them. I'm eating of them.
Why did the hedgehog cross the road?
I know that one.
To show his girlfriend that he had guts.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness.
What happened to Ray when an elephant stepped on him? He became an X-ray.
Oh man.
What do you call pigs that live together?
Pigs.
Yeah, pen friends.
Beard, stop. I know. The worst joke I know in that direction is, why did the chicken cross the road?
Yeah.
To get to the other side.
Yeah.
That's a really old one. Why did the frog cross the road?
Yeah.
Because it was tied to the chicken's leg.
Write this down,
But
Viad.
yeah, but that's not. There's no homonyms in there. They're just
no.
bad jokes.
Yeah.
Old jokes. Yeah. So, folks, in that
Did
happy
your
note,
students help you with some of these?
Well, I use some of these for my classes, but
Yeah.
one shouldn't overdo it.
No.
no, that's, I can confirm that.
You know, there's another whole chapter which I didn't use in my book.
That's for another show.
Right?
Thank you very
Which
much.
there won't be.
Thank you very much, Viad Ravling.
Yeah.
Thank you also to Scott Hazlitt.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much
Always a
indeed.
pleasure.
Thank you to Andrew Bossum for his wonderful reports. You can see more of him on the internet, by the way. He has a show on the YouTube. And from Bastian Spiller, who's been cutting all the pictures. And as I said, this is the last show. Thank you for being with us. And we hope to see you maybe in one of our other projects coming up
Right.
later. Bye for now.
Okay.